this hobby's being ruined. And I'm talking about reenacting and collecting from literally any era, any war, any country. I've encountered these exact same things in my German impression community, the Vietnam War community, the modern US Milsim community, the general airsoft, all of the reenacting communities, and yeah, even the retro and the cloning communities. And it's not just the old heads, but it's even the young people too. Those 15 to 30-year-olds, they do it. And before we get into this video, I'm guilty of some of these too. But as someone who's been in this community for pushing a decade now, I've seen a lot of things change in recent years, and maybe they've always been there, but I want to hear your takes on it as well. I don't want to come off whatsoever as I'm holier than thou and I never do these, because of course, I've learned a lot over these years. And we're gonna get to the positives at the end. So here on the Gear Locker, we're gonna talk about 6 things that are killing our community. The first one I want to talk about is an entire culture, which has kind of erupted over the last 5 years, and that's checklist culture. It's a name that I came up with, and maybe it exists elsewhere, but it's kind of catchy. Checklist culture are those people who just sit down, look at a few pictures, and build a checklist, and buy the whole checklist, put it all together, take a picture, and that's the whole thing for them. To break it down into a few stages, that's where we really find where the issue lies. In an age of social media and quick access to everything, I don't want to blame YouTube, Instagram, and Amazon for doing this, but it definitely plays a part. We're expecting things instantly. We want the content we want to watch right there. We want to be able to scroll and find something that interests us and gives us that little dopamine kick. And when we buy something, we want to be able to just slap it on and be done. And my God, does it take the fun out of all of it. You see, one of the things that makes this community what it is the understanding of the why. Not just the what. Anybody can look at reference photos, but instantly it becomes a race to buy it. Regardless of the price, regardless of if it's even the right one, they just want it in their hands. And a lot of these kits take so much more time and research. The lack of understanding of why things were placed in certain orientations, or why the QXL dive light was the one used in Panama. The time crunch is killing us. And for so many, especially people who work on rare kits, this turns into a constant loop of unfinished loadouts. I know I have a few sitting in boxes that I haven't even shown. Ones I haven't even taken pictures of because it's not perfected yet. I still haven't checked off that last bucket item. And for some people, that's a fine way to do it, but it turns into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just sitting in a bin, never to see the light of day. Because again, it's an unfinished kit. The checklist cannot be completed. And even when that checklist is completed, so many kits end up looking lazy. You can definitely tell the difference between a well thought out kit and a checklist kit. Just scroll any impression kit community. You can almost see what I'm talking about. These quickly checked boxes lead to missing details, things not worn properly, or the orientations of pieces totally off. Yes, they have all of the right equipment, and with some work, they could look absolutely fantastic. But the rush to get it out there and the lack of true depth of understanding is what hurts. Surface level knowledge is not an impression kit, in my opinion. The next comes with sort of the opposite end of the spectrum, and this is perfectionists. They've been known as stitch counters in some communities, and they go by other names, but these are some of the biggest bullies out there. And it kind of sucks, but some of them don't even realize it. One of the parts about being in a community is it's not just you. And this is something that those perfectionists maybe struggle to realize a lot of the times. And in fact, it ends up pushing away people. These are the people who, while they're not doing anything wrong by their own standards, someone else doing something not to their standards is not allowed. Because when these perfectionists take their view and impose it upon another, they end up bullying them. Picking apart a kit and its inaccuracies while having total disregard for all of the good things that happen is gonna push that person away. I've had it happen to me many times. Especially being a public face, well, relatively, on YouTube, I've posted videos and people have commented things like AliExpress Tiger Stripe, not regarding all of the incredible work that went into so many of the pieces showcased in that video. And truthfully, I wasn't even wearing AliExpress Tiger Stripe. It was Dragon-made stuff. But there tends to be so much hate and disdain towards anything not up to their standards that they come off as really rude and aggressive. So while they're doing things right on their own, they're not doing well for the community. Which brings me to their cousin, and those are the gatekeepers. Many times, they're the same person. Again, we live in a social media age. Access to information is nuts. You might have to do a little bit of digging and find resources that you wouldn't have otherwise stumbled upon, but so much of it is hidden behind a social wall. And yes, spoon feeding is never the answer. In fact, that's how you get those lazy kits. But I know many people, unfortunately, that will hide or gatekeep a kit just because they're worried someone else is gonna ruin it for them. Their fun dictates how much fun another person can have. And truthfully, that's downright selfish. That's part of the reason I created this YouTube channel and talk about all the gear pieces I do. Because there's no harm in having more information out there. In fact, that's how the community grows. If the community can't thrive with more people getting involved, then it's going to fizzle and die out. That's why you might see the Vietnam reenacting and airsoft community is sort of struggling. There doesn't need to be that social wall. And I felt like I kind of summed it up well in this one phrase. These gatekeepers have a sense of ownership over information and history that isn't theirs. There's a situation that kind of sparked that idea. A while ago, there was this reenactor that would only reenact his uncle's unit or his granduncle's unit or some distant relative. And he would share, I do not want anybody to do this kit because it's very personal to me. Like, oh my God. And I'm not saying that this is every gatekeeper, but it's not yours. If they're one of those checklist people who's just trying to complete it, I can understand your hesitancy, but again, that kills the community. It's almost as if they have a superiority complex having information that other people don't. Which gets me to the fourth person, and that is the superiority competition. Yeah, it's a superiority complex mixed with a competition. It boils down to a spending pissing contest. Who can have the most expensive kit with the most expensive things? Who has cooler pictures in better locations? And who is more real? None of these things matter. If a kit is accurate and well done, that's the point of this community. It's bringing in these people to build something together. A common phrase you'll hear is, you don't really know why that's there. It's the assumption that anyone beneath them, or who they perceive to be beneath them, is just one of those checklist gear makers. Someone who doesn't really care about the history, when in fact, they probably do. And the thing that bothers me most about these kinds of people is they will never, absolutely never acknowledge the success of another person. They will only talk about the negatives. They will never show up on any of your feed or any of your content unless they have something negative to say about it. And these are toxic people. There are so many of them in every single sect of this community. And I mean that from personal experience. I've been on the receiving end of it many times, and I have thick enough skin where I don't let it really bother me. Yeah, it might hurt in the moment, but these people have their own issues to work out. Again, going back to the idea of bullies. If you want to be the balancing force to these people, it's to support others in the community. Give them a like, give them a comment saying, hey, nice job. One of the things that I found that's really positively received is when you offer constructive criticism, but don't just give it. Give thought out compliments on what they did well and say, hey, would you be open to some feedback? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, yeah, what you got? And that's how a productive dialogue happens. These superiority complex people might have good ideas, but the way they come across immediately shuts down any form of productive conversation because they just wanna tell you that they're right. For some reason, the internet really perpetuates this. Hiding behind the internet mask or the physical mask can often lead people to say things or do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And it's funny, when you call some of these people out directly, no matter what area or category they're in, they often shy away from any sort of that confrontation. But you will get guys that double down. And for these people who are just looking for a fight, looking to impose their view, or looking to tell you how little you are, don't engage with them. They don't belong in this community. And that brings me to one of the final people in this dreaded category. These are the hoarders and the flippers. We've talked about a lot of the social things that have damaged the community in recent years, but these people are ever present. They've been here since the hobby began and will be here long before I'm out of it, and many of you guys are. These are the people who are at the gun shows or the military shows, sit behind their vast collection of extremely rare items, and have things exorbitantly priced. Even mundane items, like a USGI canteen cover from Vietnam being $45, it's sitting there so they can show off their collection. They might make a sale off some chump who doesn't know the difference. And to them, that's a good thing. Their inflated view of their values not only removes things from the pool that new reenactors and new impressionists could have, but it continues to do that in setting a price minimum. Even though someone might not buy it, you know someone who just stumbled upon it is gonna look it up on eBay or figure out how much it's worth at a gun show and say, oh man, I have a $50 pouch here. You go to a local surplus store or buy it from a buddy, it's gonna cost a fourth of that. Yeah, I'm talking about canteen covers in specific here, actually. I love those things. I don't know why. The brown trim on the green cotton, oh man. One of my favorite kind of pouch combos. So a little bit of TGL lore. I will buy one of those whenever I get the chance, unless it's a $45 one. And in tangent with these people, you get the hoarders. The flippers are bad, but the hoarders never let their stuff see the light of day. These are the people who will spend as much money as they can, or even find all the best deals and add it to their piles. It goes into a storage unit, never sees the light of day until they want to sell it for crazy prices. Or they'll use it for a picture and then it's gone. Some people are collectors, and you can't really argue against the people who value those things. Like, I have some pieces that I've used for impressions and taken pictures with and taken to Milsim West events that I'm probably not going to do much more with in the future. But it is a prized possession of mine, and you can understand that. But I also don't have 12 lightweight rucksacks. I've seen many photos of people who just stack things over and over and over. They buy it whenever they can because that's their hobby. Again, it's that little dopamine kick for them that tells them that they have more stuff. There's a story about this that really bothers me, and well, you can't judge a person for what they're going to do with it. It's their money and they spent it and they got it. It does take away from the community many times. One of my good friends wanted to build a USGI kit for the Vietnam War for Bay events. We had found this deal on Facebook Marketplace. He had contacted the seller. He was gonna get ready to go pick it up that weekend. And granted, this was on like a Thursday. So on Saturday after work, he was gonna drive out hours to go get this great deal. And on Friday about midday, we got a message in a group chat that many of us were in saying, haha, early bird gets the worm. This was a guy who just sits around, doesn't do anything, but he nabbed that lightweight rucksack out from under the nose of one of the people that we were in a community together. Guess where that lightweight rucksack is now? It was never sold. It's sitting somewhere in a storage unit with a pile of other ones, just because it was a good deal. Now that took away an opportunity for someone who wanted to get into this to get one of the most expensive and hardest pieces to find a good deal on, and that is not right. If you're flipping just for a buck, you're not part of the community. If you're in this hobby for the money, you're not part of the community. And those are my hot takes. Because I think I've been negative enough, I want to talk about some of the positives that I've seen going on in recent years. And again, I'm sure they've happened for a long time and they will happen in the future, but it's not all doom and gloom because I love this community. I love all of the different subsects of it, and I cannot wait to continue on. One of the things that I love seeing, and I've seen especially in recent years, are fresh faces who are so excited about it. Especially in the Broken Arrow events community, we've had new people coming in the last year or so that are absolutely ready to go for every event that we do. Every time I interact with them on social media, I've already signed up, I've got my ticket. Hey, what can I do for this? Can I do this kind of impression? Like, can I use this reference photo? Can you help me find a good deal on this? It's these people who are not only interested in attending and being part of a bigger thing, but they also want to know more. They want to learn the history. They'll read the books. They'll watch the documentaries. They'll even watch the movies because it gets them hyped up. But it's these people who keep this hobby growing, especially those who care about history. People who will take as many reference photos and document the history. People who have written books about family members' experiences, or those who will even make social media posts. Things that not only get the photos out there, but the information aside it. The history is what matters here. So hiding it isn't doing anything. But those who bring it out, especially with social media in the last decade, that's absolutely what's going to help grow. Another thing that I love to see is little subsects of the community growing. Like, there's a Discord that just happened to start up recently called Why Milsim, and that's a German reenacting community and modern German stuff. So the KSK, KSM, Fanspeer, Kampfreiter, all of these modern German units that people tend to reenact, that's where a lot of the information is starting to go, and it's really cool. Another thing that I've loved in this hobby that I hope continues is meeting new people. The amount of hands I've gotten to shake at events that I would never have otherwise met is so neat. Like Uniform History on YouTube. I've met and talked to the guy. He's really chill and has awesome content. And alongside this is going and traveling, going to events far out, and seeing people that are not only local, but guys you wouldn't have met otherwise. Being at a military show and having some guy come up and say, oh, I used to be an EOD tech. You want to talk about the dummy grenades you've made? Like, oh my God, yeah, I want to know about the colors that were actually used. I don't know how accurate these things are. Give me the information that you can share. And lastly, it's fighting the basement reenactor plague. Basement reenactors are one of the banes of my existence. They're kind of in line with people who buy the gear and never use it, but I've seen so many people put on their boots and get out there, and that's what I love. Whether it's at a modern event like Milsim West or a reenactment or Broken Arrow events, the people who will get out there and use it, that's really what I love. And it's one of the ways that if you want to grow this community, that's the way to do it, man. Get out there and be a part of it. So I want to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What are some other things that are killing the community and how can we fix it? We're never going to change other people, but if we can be positive influences ourselves, then not only will the whole community be better in a couple years, but starting tomorrow. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I really appreciate you staying here. We'll see you guys in the next one and out at events. This is the Gear Locker, by the way. I missed that part. Weird.